What's going on, boxing fans? Pool kind of boxing coming at you with another video for the boxing heads and the boxing minds. David Benavidez says that he see weaknesses in Canelo Alvarez. He says he can beat Canelo. Canelo just defeated Billy Joe Saunders this past weekend, and from what David Benavidez saw, he saw weakness. He saw that he could take advantage of in Canelo. He said that he can exploit a lot of things he saw. David Benavidez got 24 wins, no losses, 21 KOs. It is also known by real boxing fans that Canelo ducked David Benavidez, but you know, the whole world, they won't admit it because, he was stripped of his belt and Canelo came and got his belt, but he wouldn't fight the champion for the belt. And the WBC set up Canelo to get the belt by fighting for the vacant title in Anvil Yildirim. So they fought for the belt, for David's belt. So now David, since he lost his belt and Canelo picked it up in the win against Yildirim, David will be fighting Jose Ucadegui. And Jose Ucadegui has 30 wins, 4 losses, and 25 KOs on August 25th in a WBC eliminator. So that would make David Benavidez Canelo's mandatory if he wins that fight. So, but of course, if he wins that fight and becomes Canelo mandatory, we're used to seeing Canelo not facing the dangerous fights. He's going to either have to fight David Benavidez or he's going to have to vacate the title. And we already know that the better part of valor is Canelo's trademark. That is a trademark for Canelo Alvarez. The better part of valor. He will flee and go somewhere else because he did it at 160 with Demetrius Andrade. He had one belt, just one belt. He had all 3 of the belts, and he just needed one more belt, the WBO, to become undisputed at 160. But his energy changed when he seen he had to fight the slick style of Demetrius Andrade. And he went up to 175 to fight a fading Crusher, and that was disappointing, because the Crusher was on his last leg up at 175. He had just fought Yard, and Yard, damn near knocked him out. So he looked like easy pickings, and he was. Anthony Yard, showed that, the Crusher, was on his last leg. And this is why Canelo has the reputation of being the vulture in boxing. He comes down and he gets strip titles, to add to his collection, to build up his glory. He's not fighting the champions for the belt. He's waiting for the belt to be open. And for some reason, his hardcore fans, they don't care to acknowledge this fact. So now, David B says that he can beat Canelo. He said that you must have a few things to fight Canelo. You got to have a jab, and you got to have power to keep Canelo off you. He said Yildirim did not have any power to keep Canelo off him. Billy Joe Saunders did not have a power in his jab or power to hurt Canelo to keep him off him. So that's why Canelo, he said he will be there all night. This is what David Benavidez is saying of Fight Hype. So David feels like he is, he hits the hardest at 168. Um, he feel like he has the jab. He has great speed, combinations, and he's strong enough, to hold Canelo off. He can't push him around, and he also goes forward, and he puts a lot of pressure on his opponents. If you ever saw a David Benavidez fight, you know that he's the one who pushes forward. So he said he also went on to say that most of Canelo opponents, they come in mentally defeated already. They come in like they already lost the fight, and I agree with that. It's like the whole hype around Canelo is something that you have to deal with. It is a big stage presence type deal, and most opponents cannot deal with that kind of pressure to perform. Well, David seen Canelo in the fight uh, with Billy Joe Saunders, and he said he noticed that Canelo's stamina, and we all seen it for ourselves for the last 3 years, has been not the same. Not that he had great stamina before, but he is not throwing the combinations. He is not throwing the punches. He's running out of gas quicker, which probably is why he's avoiding a lot of the best fights because he looked like he's getting old right before our eyes very quickly. So you got to take off the fan shades and look at boxing with your real boxing glasses on. And his work rate is terrible. Look like Canelo might have thrown 60 punches in the whole fight, and he loads up on everything with that low work rate. So, for some, they saw what they wanted to see, but others who want to fight Canelo, they saw they saw the real deal. They saw what was happening, and right now Canelo is looking like a whole lunch meal. But of course, he's the cash cow. So with the cash cow comes the privileges of avoiding the best fights. So with David's work rate alone and his hand speed and his size, Canelo is sure to stay away from the young upstart. Everyone expects Canelo to duck him. David Benavidez, he is a wonderful talent, and he is one of the special fighters at 168. As soon as the opportunity arrived when he got stripped, that was Canelo's opportunity to slip by him. And here is my crutch is that they allow this to happen. David bears a lot of the responsibility, but boxing fans should not allow Canelo to slip by that fight because if you're going to be considered the face of boxing and the cash cow, then that fight should be in the books. He should have fought David before he fought um, Billy Joe Saunders because David was the biggest threat in the division. And you can't be the best by slipping by the dangerous fight. You got to go through, you got to walk through the fire. So, that is the drum that I beat on. I would give Canelo Alvarez all the credit in the world. But when you see the consistent ducking, the consistent dropping of belts, vacating of belts, just because the last belt holder is a unique talent, then you cannot call Canelo Alvarez the best just because he's fighting people we know he can beat. And this is something I want boxing fans to understand. not the fanboys. You know, there's nothing you can say to Canelo fanboys because, you know, they don't care. They don't care about real boxing or the sport. They just want to see Canelo win, and we want to see him fight the best in each division, right? So we don't want to see fixed fights. You know, we don't want to see cherry picking. You know, we want to see if you know we want to see your skills beat the best in these divisions. And not only am I just saying this, but you got a made up belt. I mean, the audacity to say that people are hating on Canelo, you got a special made up belt to allow you to duck people. So, I don't know what how they're gonna like really paint that in your legacy, but you can see you're not throwing a lot of punches, you know. Every move you make, people are saying is wonderful. But real boxing purists see a aging fighter who are staying away from the best. And it's the same with Triple G. You lucked up and got a big contract. So now you can it don't matter who you fight. Everybody's still gonna call you the greatest because your brand is big. Your brand is not your legacy. Your legacy is trash. And I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm just calling it like I see it. Your legacy is trash. And I am a Canelo fan, but I'm a fan of boxing first, facts over feelings. So that's what I think about it. This has been Pool Kind of Boxing. You're gonna like it like you like it, and law don't go right here, law dog. Yes, Savvy. So I'll see you guys in the next video that I make. And please leave a comment below or what you think. If hate, love, whatever. Subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what you think about the content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right.